Psalm 23. God has set a table for two. One chair for himself, the king, and the second one, believe it or not, is for you. But of course, the enemy wants a seat at the table too. Anxiety wants a seat, envy wants a seat, worry and frustration want a seat. But don't give the enemy a seat at your table. Look up, go up. You're invited up the mountain of God. Move towards infinite power, splendor, love, and beauty, healing and restoration. When we gaze upon the Almighty, we are changed by the captivation. Empowered to take every thought captive in the battle of the mind. Shame is silenced by his glory, and our future redefined. So draw near to Jesus. The shepherd is good. Our God is faithful. Take the place prepared for you. And don't give the enemy a seat at your table.
Aha! So Air Peace has now commenced direct flights to Dakar, Freetown, and Banjul from Lagos. Yeah, so start planning your trip, cause Air Peace got you. Lagos to Dakar, Freetown, and Banjul flights will operate on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with the superb Embraer 195 E2 jets. Fly Air Peace from Lagos to Dakar, Freetown, Banjul, and enjoy a world-class travel experience on the brand new E195. For bookings, head to our website flyairpeace.com or download the Air Peace mobile app on Play Store or App Store. Air Peace, your peace, our goal.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for getting back here in Solomon's Temple. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much for connecting. Yeah, if you're first time in Solomon's Temple, thank you so much. And all that you've been doing and helping out in this regard, really, really appreciate it. I was going to talk about an issue around one of the pastors that was fired by Bishop David Oyedepo's church, that is Queen's Chapel. But I had another idea, which was just kind of like a news that came in just recently around Shepherd Bushiri. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about somebody who, an official, a top government official with South Africa's Department of Home Affairs. So now Department of Home Affairs is like Department of, I think in the UK, you call it the same thing. In Nigeria, you call it Department of Internal Affairs, I think. So they are in charge of issuing visas, citizenship, visas to people, extending visas to people when they come in, even visas coming in from another country. They regulate all the birth and death certificates and registration. If you are a non-South African, you live in South Africa, you want to get permanent residency so you can stay here for as long as you want, or you now want to get citizenship, you want to get citizenship, they're the ones that coordinate that. So an official who helped Bushiri and his family to actually acquire permanent residency in South Africa was suspended. Yes, a top official, by the way. And he felt the suspension was wrong because they had an internal disciplinary committee, DC, hearing before they suspended him. And he took them to court, the labor court. Now in South Africa, taking the government to court is it's a usual thing. You know what I'm saying? People do that quite a lot because it's a country compared to a lot of African countries where, human rights and rights of people is definitely being observed. So you have the right to do whatever you want to do. Yeah, okay. I got Skinner here saying that's in the UK, that's the Home Office. That's the Home Office in the UK. So in South Africa, you call it Home Affairs. Thank you, Malia is back from the UK. Vincent from Lilongwe. The first time, Vincent, thank you. You're very close to Bushiri there, I see in Malawi, Lilongwe. Emma said, I've been missing the lives all this time. I got it now. Thank you. Thank you. Choni from Linksfield. Voice for the End Time said, wow, Solomon, still listening to Vicky Atkins and the prophecy straight from the Holy Spirit. Reminds me of things you've been saying since I recently was led to your channel. Yeah, that's what it did. That's why I resonated with her, with her, with her prophecies, or with what she has to say, the warnings that God was giving through her. So if you haven't checked out that video that I made, is the last video that I made, just around the warning, a strong warning for false prophets. Please go check it out. And there is quite a lot of content here. Sam from Malawi, from Pretoria around here. Kenya, always in the house. Kanye is here also. Thank you guys. Thank you. Azon from Kempton Park. Quen Yi, right? From Dubai. Greetings to you also. Elias from the cold nation of Russia. I hope you're keeping warm. I'm sure you've adjusted to the weather out there already. You've been there a couple of years, I guess. There's Rustenberg also in the house here. Makupani. Yes, Makupani. Refill way. Thank you. Isaac is catching us for the very first time on this side, not Facebook. You're on YouTube. Okay. Good. If you guys that are on Facebook, you normally watch it on Facebook, I would really want to recommend that you go and subscribe on YouTube. I discovered that actually a lot of people watch it on YouTube much more than they watch it on Facebook. Some people, they don't even want to watch it on Facebook. They just want to watch it on YouTube. Uganda is here. Damili and Erina also is Uganda. Zambia is here. From the Congo is also here. And we got Hallelujah Embassy, Georgia. Thank you guys. Really appreciate each and every one of you. So I'm just going to quickly talk about the issue, which is Bushiri, official suspended. An official for the Department of Home Affairs in South Africa was suspended. A top official, working with the Department of Home Affairs. And the Department of Home Affairs are the department that is in charge of issuing people that are non-South Africans like me coming to South Africa. If I want to renew my visa, I do it through Department of Home Affairs. If I'm eligible to get a permanent residency, that would give me a permanent stay, just like a green card in the US, in South Africa, I do it through them. If I'm eligible for a citizenship by naturalization, you do it through them. They're the one in charge of any people when they get married. They're the ones that keep the record. They're the ones that keeps the record for every new baby, new birth, or that. They're the ones that keep all these kind of records. They're the ones that keep all of it. Now, in this case, Bushiri and his family actually applied for permanent residency. So just a little bit. So this was one of the one of the headlines that came out after he was suspended. So top official suspended for approving Prophet Bushiri's permanent residency status. He fails in court again because he took the Department of Home Affairs, that is, he took his employer to court for suspending him after a disciplinary hearing. And he was saying he needed some sort of legal representation there. But the court says, no, everything that happened there was right. So for me, it wasn't about him, the court denying him that, but it's about how it happened. So the Department of Home Affairs Chief Director for Permits. So this guy is the Chief Director for Permits. That's why I told you he's a top official with the Department of Home Affairs. He is the Chief Director for Permits. Ronnie Mahule. He unsuccessfully attempted to appeal Labour Court Judge Edwin's ruling that had dismissed his application. Mahule challenged the fact that Home Affairs had had legal representation during his disciplinary hearing while he had not. But obviously they dismissed it. But how did it happen? What did he do? Here's what he did. Independent media reported last month that Mahule faced an internal disciplinary hearing for approving the Bushiri's permanent residency applications without complying with standard operating procedures. He is accused of being party to recommending and approving Bushiri and his immediate family's application for permanent residency. So he gave the permission, he gave the go-ahead, he gave the endorsement for Bushiri, his wife, and his kids to have permanent residency in South Africa. So that means, those of you guys who know the American green card, so it's almost like having an American green card, where you are not really a citizen, but you are a resident there. You can go in and out anytime. You don't need a visa. You can work. You can do business. You operate basically. You also have a South African identity card. So you basically like a citizen, you know, it's just one level down before becoming a citizen. And this application was made in 2016, right? And he got it within, within what? He got it immediately, basically. Now, I know people who have been wanting to get permanent residency for 10 years now, they still don't have it. Some people for 5 years, some people for 3 years. They still do not have it. And Bushiri was not even eligible because in 2016, he wasn't supposed to be eligible to get any sort of permanent residency. You need to live in the country for at least 5 years, you know, to have permanent residency, or you need to have a proper, you know, sort of skill for you to have permanent residency earlier. But he didn't have no permanent, no special sort of skill. He wasn't, by 2016, he hadn't lived in South Africa. He was just in South Africa, I think, for about a year or two by 2016. So obviously, that's why permanent residence, that's why the Department of Home Affairs, after Bushiri was arrested for fraud and everything, and he was in prison, they said, look, hey, this guy is Malawian, so actually let's do some investigation and find out about his residency status. And they did an investigation. They discovered, okay, Bushiri has permanent residency with his wife and children. All of them, they have permanent residency. And you see, the danger is when we help people who we know are not people of integrity. When we help people just because they are men of God. The top official at the Home Affairs Department, maybe he helped Bushiri because he's a member of the church, or maybe people who are members of his church know him, so they came to him and say, no, just do our prophet a favor and all that. Maybe, Bushiri, powerful person, let's just get him to stay. Or maybe he was paid. Maybe he was given a bribe. Maybe he's a corrupt official. Because to be honest with you, so many people have been complaining about the Department of Home Affairs officials. A lot of them are corrupt. They make so much money for them to renew anything, your visa, for them to renew, to get permanent residence. Even the government itself is complaining about the Department of Home Affairs because of the level of corruption there. So maybe he was paid. Now, when you give somebody residency permit, permanent residency permit, you sort of like giving him the go-ahead to create havoc and to commit the kind of crime that he committed. Because obviously, Bushiri got his residency permit, so he would feel, I'm here, no one is going to move me. He's going to give him more boldness and more authority, you know, to be able to do what he did, you know, creating this whole fraudulent pyramid scheme, investment businesses, and the way he dealt with young girls and the way that he was conducting his church and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, he has permanent residency, so he felt, no one is going to move me. And fact is, if Bushiri had gotten his permanent residency the right way, the government is not going to take that away from him. But now they're going to take that away from him. They have to revoke it. But if he had gotten it the right way, it would be difficult for them to revoke it. They may revoke it because of the kind of crime that he had committed. Because when you commit that kind of fraud or like abuse of women, those are very serious crime. It's not like you had some, you know, some case against, you know, driving inappropriately or whatever. These are very serious crimes, and South Africa takes this crime extremely seriously. And what I'm trying to say is we need to be careful when we help a man of God. You don't know you're helping this person just so they can get a foothold with the money you're giving them, just so they can continue to do certain things that they shouldn't be doing. That's not appropriate at all. And that's exactly what happened with Bushiri. And you get a lot of, I'm not against pastors moving from one country to another country. I'm a big believer of, look, the earth is the Lord and his fullness thereof. You can go to anywhere and plant a church, anywhere. We can't begin to say, no, don't come to our country. No, as long as you come into our country and you follow the rules and the regulations and you do what is right, no problem. You help the community, no problem. Like yesterday, I posted on my Facebook page. So those of you guys who want to follow me on Facebook, I recommend you do. I posted a poster of an event that is happening in Johannesburg by a church. The pastor is Nigerian. He lives in Johannesburg. He's been here in South Africa for over 20 years. And then he had 3 different people who are going to be ministering. And they are all Nigerians from Nigeria. I don't get that. You live in South Africa as a Nigerian pastor. You're having a conference and all your speakers are Nigerians from Nigeria. Something is wrong. Where is the heart for local people? Sadly, a lot of these people, that's why you see when Bushiri was in South Africa, almost all his leaders, the majority of his leaders, key leaders, were Malawians. His pastors, majority of them are Malawians. So you do not have the time to raise local people. Even if it means you train them, you invest in them and raise them up. You do not have, I have a problem with that. Because for me, if God sends me to India, God sends me to Indians. That's my first priority, not Nigerians in India. I'm in South Africa now. I'm not here to service or to just reach out to Nigerians. My first priority is South Africans, and it will always be that way. That's my first priority. And a lot of Nigerian churches or African churches, when you go to like the US or Europe, they having any event, all the speakers there, the musicians, the whatever, they're Nigerians. So you just have a Nigerian church in New York, or you have a Nigerian church in London. That's just what it is. So how about the local people? And you call yourself a missionary. You know what a missionary is? How about the local people? That should be your priority. I'm not saying do not allow Africans or Nigerians to come to the church, whatever. No. I'm just saying, where is the heart for the local people? God sent you there. Especially when you go to a nation where the spiritual maturity of a lot of people is not as much as the nation where you come from. Maybe you planted the church in London because you feel Nigerians give much more than British people. Because British people, you want them to give a seat. What is a seat? Why should I give you a seat? I work hard for this money. Why should I give you? But Nigerians will just give it to you because obviously that's the way a lot of us were brought up. And we're also very generous. So now you just want to concentrate on Nigerians. That's your first priority. So you want to bring speakers that Nigerians love. You want to bring musicians that Nigerians love. And that's exactly what happened to Bushiri. Bushiri got his permanent residency. So it gave him the authority and the audacity to conduct himself the way that he wants to. If you go to Bushiri's church, most of his pastors in South Africa were Malawians. There were about 6 of them that reached out to me over a year ago because Bushiri fired them and he didn't pay them. And they reached out to me to help them. I said, how can you come to me to help you? He said, no, we believe, I had to begin to sit down with them. I met with them, helped them, called them for a meeting, took them to one of the commissions in South Africa that would, met the chairperson and said, look, let's help them. And they had to write a letter to Bushiri and all that. And he had to give them some money. Because you don't just fire them. All of them were Malawians. Some of them want to go back home to Malawi. So when we help men of God, when we help people, the giving that you give to a church, to a ministry, to a pastor, to an apostle, to a prophet, make sure that the giving that you're giving is going to go, is going to be used in the most appropriate way. That is important. There's just no two ways about it. Because we cannot keep supporting certain projects and campaign and ministries that they're not just doing the right thing, but all you're trying to do, you're supporting them because you feel you're going to be blessed. Come on. God is going to bless you giving to the poor. God is going to bless you giving to somebody that nobody knows about. That's just the way that it is. And God has sent a warning to false prophets like Bushiri and the likes. God has sent a warning already, a strong warning. The time has come. I feel sorry for Bushiri. Bushiri is just what, 37, 38? He's still a young man. If he doesn't repent now, he will live a very miserable life, and his life may just end sooner than later. He's sad. He's stubborn, stubbornly sinful. If you met people that are very stubbornly sinful, you come close to them. That's why all they want to do is to shut me down. All they want to do is to take me to court and all that kind of stuff. That's all they know. Because they don't want me to mess up with their source of income. That's what they want to do. That's what they keep doing. But we cannot let them. But we need to join forces. And it's good that a country like South Africa is really standing its ground on this kind of things where you investigate. Yeah, there are problems of corruption and all that kind of stuff and all that. But, at least he can take a stand. If he was in some other African countries, he's untouchable. He would always be untouchable. Prophets with money in African countries, they're untouchable. Somebody actually told me, Solomon, what you're doing on YouTube, if you're in Kenya, they would have shut you up. You would have been in prison a long time ago. In Nigeria, they would not even, they would shut me down. Because they have money. So here, the best thing they do is to go to court. They've threatened me and tried to intimidate me, death threats and all that. Didn't work. So the best thing they want to do now is to go to court. Because they're like, no, he doesn't have the money. How can you help local people because they're going to expose your cult? Precious says the wages of sin is dead. Tabi Sang says, I don't think false prophets really believe in the existence of mighty God. Living my life, too much corruption and bribery acceptance in South Africa. The government officials are involved too. That is how these pastors escape the law. Africans can be bought. Yeah, it's like you have a price. Just name your price. You see somebody who's an elder in church, a deacon, even a pastor in church. But if you're ready to pay, they are ready to compromise. Janet says, too bad. I know this guy. He is director of permitting. Yes, he's the director of permitting. Janet, do you work with Home Affairs? Please, if you work with Home Affairs, get in touch with me. I want to find out certain things. Rodney says, Uncle Saul, he had a special skill. He prophesied lies to South Africans. That special skills, we don't need it in South Africa, isn't it? We don't need it in South Africa. Kanye says Home Affairs is one corrupt department. They should just suspend all of them. It's you don't know what actually non-South Africans go through at Home Affairs. Kanye, like the money that they corrupt, bribe that they pay for something that they should have legally. The wait that they have to wait for years for something that should have been done in 6 months. They get your file, they keep your file until they hear from you. It's like the most corrupt department in South Africa. It reminds me of Nigeria. The Home Affairs, it reminds me of everything Nigeria, where anywhere you go, there's just corruption. But you are lucky in South Africa, it's just the Department of Home Affairs. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. I've been receiving quite a lot of reports around a prophet in Kenya that I've also been investigating. He calls himself Owuo, if I'm saying it correctly, Owuo. And very soon, I've gotten some info from some brother in Kenya, and I've been following him for a couple of years now. You know, I'm just wanting to make sure that I get some sort of he's like God himself, and he has a huge congregation, you know, a dreadlocks looking guy. So I'm going to try to get on that and make sure that I get that to you as soon as possible. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. God bless you. Maybe tonight, I'm still waiting to hear from Jamaica. I call him Uncle Lester. I'm not sure you guys know Dr. Lester Lewis. He is the pioneer of Jamaican reggae gospel music. He was the one that sang "Jesus is a winner man, a winner man." You know, we've been talking, and I'm supposed to be having an interview with him soon. It is going to be tonight or tomorrow night, but I'm going to let you know as soon as I get that on. So thank you so much, guys. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, share this video with other people. God bless you and keep you, and cause his face to shine upon you. Amen.
Psalm 23. God has set a table for two. One chair for himself, the king, and the second one, believe it or not, is for you. But of course, the enemy wants a seat at the table too. Anxiety wants a seat, envy wants a seat, worry and frustration want a seat. But don't give the enemy a seat at your table. Look up, go up. You're invited up the mountain of God. Move towards infinite power, splendor, love, and beauty, healing and restoration. When we gaze upon the Almighty, we are changed by the captivation. Empowered to take every thought captive in the battle of the mind. Shame is silenced by his glory, and our future redefined. So draw near to Jesus. The shepherd is good. Our God is faithful. Take the place prepared for you. And don't give the enemy a seat at your table.
Aha! So Airpeace has now commenced direct flights to Dakar, Freetown, and Banjul from Lagos. Yeah, so start planning your trip, cause Airpeace got you. Lagos to Dakar, Freetown, and Banjul flights will operate on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with the superb Embraer 195 E2 jets. Fly Airpeace from Lagos to Dakar, Freetown, Banjul, and enjoy a world-class travel experience on the brand new E195. For bookings, head to our website flyairpeace.com or download the Airpeace mobile app on Play Store or App Store. Airpeace, your peace, our goal.
Marriage. Of course, marriage is not your normal bump and face kind of relationship. It brings both excitement and disappointments. If you find yourself married in community of property and often delayed in your business transactions and dealings, worry no more, because Masinya Attorneys uses the law to help you change from in community of property to out of community of property and vice versa. Call Masinya Attorneys today on 084 383 7747. We will sort you out with a High Court application, and of course you get to keep your spouse. That's Masinya Attorneys on 084 383 7747.